welcome back to the Corporate Burnouts. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
I'm fine. I wish that today you weren't singing in a strong country accent, but luckily we're on here now. And
For
it will
all of our
stop.
listeners, she's from Texas, I can tell. I'm just kidding.
No, it's too
Yeah,
much.
I live to make you mad with my singing. This goes way back in our friendship.
Yeah, I will never
Do you
forget.
want me to bring it
So
back?
I'll tell the story. Don't do it. So we used to travel, as you all know, and we were staying in the same hotel room, and it was like crazy trying to drag Mandy out of bed in the morning. She did not want to get up. But this one morning she was on one and she's all up and at 'em and singing Taylor Swift's Bad Blood in a British accent. And
A really bad British accent, because let's not act like I can actually do one well.
it wasn't good. And I'm actually a morning person. Like nothing really like bothers. I'm not like grumpy in the morning. But I was so mad. So mad. I'm like, fucking stop.
I couldn't make it stop. It was like just flowing right out of me. And it's really funny because those mornings that I get chaotic like that and in a good mood, it's like I'm usually overexhausted, did not get enough sleep, but I have to be on today. And it was what we were hosting a meeting somewhere or something. And it was like, all right, let's get pumped up. And now it's like I'm psyching myself up, but I could not get it out of my head. I couldn't make it stop. And to this day, when I sing Bad Blood, it just comes out in
every
the Mandy
time.
Holt British accent. It's
every
terrible.
time. No, it was terrible. And I'm not the kind of person who's like, I wish she wasn't so happy in the morning, but I was like,
no,
I just wish
she
that
wasn't so annoying in the morning.
I wish that you had showed you're happy in a different way and you're pumped up in a different way, but it's okay.
Oh, this reminds me because another time that I really got on your nerves singing was the Coetzel Taco Bell song.
Yeah.
It's called February 28th of, I can't remember the year. It doesn't matter. 16, I think. Yeah, because it's the 10-year anniversary. And obviously that just passed. And every year on that date, the date of the song, me and my kids eat Taco Bell and we text pictures of it to like friends that also do the same thing. And it's stupid. It is the dumbest thing. It's not even that exciting, but it's a thing that we do. But now, after tormenting you with the Taco Bell song that you, by the way, had never even heard and did not know, I had to send it to you too, because I was like, let's piss her off.
What I liked better was the day that you sent me his mugshot.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what I sent you the other day.
Yeah.
It was like, it came up on Facebook and I was like, it's like subtle nod to the, remember that time I pissed you off with the Taco Bell?
Getting it. So that song came from that night getting arrested.
Yes. So that song
I didn't know the backstory.
Is the night of his DWI. And he wrote the song about like,
take me to Taco Bell.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
It's something about had the cigarette, like, or light a cigarette so he don't smell the weed, like throw the bottle of whiskey under the seat, whatever the lyrics are, whatever. But it's all about him getting pulled over, all fucked up. And then he goes to jail. And when he's like in the back going, I need a taco. I'm drunk for some tacos. Like, it's the most ridiculous thing ever. But I find it so funny because, like, how many times have you been like that drunk where you're just like, feed me? Like, that's all I can think about. So the song is catchy. It's stuck in my head. And like, it's Taco Bell. Who's singing about Taco Bell? That's just crazy.
Yeah.
And
Everyone
Sarah and I tormented you with that song.
That is too much. Anyway.
So here's the deal. Let's bring it down a bit. You had to come home this weekend. You were no longer in Florida. So how was the weekend returning home?
So the weekend returning home was good. We split it into a 3-day drive and we stayed at this Harvest Host that was like an event venue out by a big pond with a dock, and it was just beautiful. And we just parked right down by the pond, and that was a really peaceful night. That was great. And it was really nice out. And then yesterday we got home and it was like 30. And then that was sad.
Yeah, and you're like,
but I like getting back to real life, and I like, seeing the kids, and I like doing the home thing. But it's going to be like 80 or something though on Saturday randomly, so it's just, you got to get back to real life sometimes, but I do enjoy Florida quite a bit.
I don't know why I'm in the mood to torment you. I guess you started it off with the whole singing thing, but my weekend was better than your weekend. It was already 80 degrees here. I went to a crawfish boil on Saturday with Chase and the girls and some friends. I got a sunburn. You can't see it, but I got tan I got some tan lines to prove it.
Yep.
It was so freaking gorgeous outside. We were eating delicious food, throwing back the beers, listening to live music, hanging out with friends.
Perfect.
It was a perfect Saturday.
Yep.
It's interesting, though. We met up with some friends and we actually just booked, we booked a while back a vacation that we're going to go on in April. It is for their anniversary. So, like, we're not in the driver's seat of where we're going and all the things. But we booked it for Mexico. And now with all the crazy cartel stuff going on down there, a lot of our conversation on the Saturday was like, should we maybe rethink where we're going? Like, it's crazy.
I mean, it's when you booked it, I was like, I'm a little nervous. And now after the last week, it's like now really nervous. I mean,
we're not moving
shit up.
super fast on that. And we're still like, I'm not super worried about it. I'm a little nervous, but I think we'll be fine. I don't know. We're leaving it up to Mindy and Levi to determine where they want to go for their anniversary trip. But after talking to Levi, I think he's got enough anxiety about it. We'll probably switch. Sam and Stacy were supposed to be in Mexico this week, like right now.
Oh, really? And they canceled it?
They're in Honduras instead.
Oh, okay.
So they were like, skirt. They actually like rebooked and saved $100, like not going to Mexico. And he was like, we got $100 back. I was like, well, okay.
Yeah,
you
that
do
really
you.
worked out.
So yeah. So very interested to know how that went. But speaking of vacations, are you going to give me some paid vacation time for this, or how's that going to work out?
Not a chance. Not a chance.
Oh, yeah, I guess that's how it works when you are a contract employee. You don't get paid.
But I do want to talk about, PTO today. And the reason this came up is I saw a video, I sent it to you, where someone was talking about how they got their PTO approved, a while ago. This person was going down to their sister's wedding or something, something that it's like, I'm not canceling my vacation. Their boss is like a week before, you can't go. We have a presentation. You need to be here. And it's like, okay, well, I won't be there because I'm going to my sister's wedding and we've had this planned for a lot of time. And it was really frustrating to me because she got fired. She no-showed, right, is what they considered it. But it's like, but you already had it approved.
That's not a no-call, no-show. Like I told you.
Right. But she abandoned the job or whatever, whatever they called it. And that video pissed me off because I have never had that happen to me where I had it approved and then they were like, psych, not happening. That would have been a deal breaker for me. I would have been like, well, I'm going, even if it wasn't my sister's wedding, even if it was just a trip that was planned and paid for and you couldn't get a refund for, I'm going. And it's not just me. Like if I was going on a vacation by myself and it was completely refundable or exchangeable, what do you call that?
Yeah, if there was some flexibility in your travel changes, it's like, okay, fine, we'll make some changes.
Right, but everybody has somebody else usually that they go on vacation with. So they've already pulled the kids out of school or their husband or partner or friend has taken off work also. And it's like, really, can you with a straight face tell somebody you have to cancel your vacation?
And go tell all 8 of your friends that you're going on this vacation with that they have to change theirs too. Like,
or they all go without you and now they all have to pay more for the Airbnb. Like it's just, it's toxic that a boss would do that and then not get in trouble for it and then get you fired for it. That is not okay to me. But that's the reason that this all came up because PTO was a hard spot for me in corporate. Nobody ever told me you cannot take that. Do not go on that vacation. But there was a lot of issues around it. And there was a lot of years where I didn't have very much PTO. And there was then years that I had 4 weeks and then could not possibly take them all because we were too busy. And so I just want to dig into this because I bet a lot of people have issues with PTO, especially here in the United States.
Yeah, I was going to say what I find interesting is the stats on like the amount of people, like they say that only 40 to 50% of Americans specifically use their PTO. I'm sorry, 40 to 50% don't use their PTO. So it's like, is this like a benefit that's given that's not intended for you to actually utilize?
Right.
That doesn't, or are we doing it to ourselves? And I think it's probably a little bit of both, when you really look at it. But what I also find interesting is in Europe, by law, they get 20 to 30 days of paid vacation.
Yeah, which is 4 to 6 weeks, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's a
That's a
lot.
lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. I think that your benefits package, people really need to think about whenever they are getting hired, right? When you're negotiating your entire package, not just how much you get paid, but all of the benefits of it, and figure out how much you can count on that benefit, because what we're seeing is you can't always count on that it's going to happen. And would it be better to take a little bit more, ask for a little bit more money and a little less PTO, because it might not be available for you. So I think it's interesting. I also think it's interesting how it's set up. So some companies are just like, if your salary, you get this much. So where we came from, once you became salary, I think it was 3 weeks guaranteed, but if you'd been with the company long enough, then it was 4 weeks. But that was the max. 4 weeks was the max. Nobody got more than that. But some of them set it up where the first year you get 10 days, and then after 5 years you get 15 days, so you have to be with a company to get to 4 weeks. You have to be with the company for 10 years
to get to a good vacation
normal
schedule.
amount.
And a lot of companies don't even have it structured based on that tenure. It's you're accruing vacation time throughout the year. So it's like, if you want to take a vacation in March, well, you've only accrued 3 days so far.
Well, and so you have to basically save them all until next year. You can start to take vacations. So a whole year with no vacations, you're literally working 5 days a week. People need vacations. And we've talked about this on multiple occasions. Like burnout, you can't take care of burnout with a 5-day vacation or a 7-day vacation, but you can stay ahead of it if you do take this time away from work. So I think it's very interesting. And I think that there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. We just mentioned that we didn't take all of our vacation.
Well, you mentioned that you didn't.
Okay.
I will say I was the opposite of you. I had 4 weeks. I had vacation every single quarter. It was like that was part of my scheduling the quarter. What is my vacation? And I had it kind of down to a science. In quarter 4 and quarter 1, like in that holiday range, I would take 2 weeks off, but they weren't really 2 weeks off. I used 1 week of vacation and then a work from home week. And I kind of worked half days through the holiday because you're going to have to do something anyway.
Yeah.
So I was strategic about that and kind of kept that second week during Q4 and Q1 for like I might need it for something. And then in quarter 2, I always we did like a couple's vacation, like an adult vacation, we'll call it. And then in quarter 3, just before we went back to school, I always took a vacation that was more of a family vacation, that we took the kids on something while they were out of school. So and of course, being in the role for more than a decade, it was like down to a science, but I had to fight for that sometimes, where my personal priorities of what vacation looked like didn't always align with what the company was asking of me. I mean, only one time did it ever come down to a real problem. And actually, I think twice. One time I missed a team outing and I was really upset about it because it was in Jackson Hole, Wyoming, and I really wanted to go on that. And I honestly don't know what happened. Apparently it was supposed to have been on my calendar. It wasn't on my calendar. I don't know. I scheduled a vacation. And then it was like, well, you kind of need to be at this is kind of important meeting. And I was like, right. But that trip to Mexico was already booked and paid for, and I couldn't change it. And I'm not going to send my husband and my friends on vacation and stay behind. Like, I'm not going to do it. Sorry. You guys will be fine without me. And while it sucked and I continued to feel the burn long after I missed this meeting because of other things that I missed during that time, it was fine. It was fine. I went on my vacation. Another time, we had pre-planned a year prior to take the kids to Disney World. Like, that's not a trip that you just go, we're going to Disney World and going to spend 15 grand,
Yeah.
So that was pre-planned for a long time. And I missed another big meeting that week. That one, it was like I never heard anything about. It was fine. It just did not exist for me.
Yeah. It's interesting. But there's the FOMO in some of these cases, right? That you don't want to miss something, so you can't let yourself leave. You obviously had better boundaries about your vacation than I did.
I was just stubborn and maybe a little rebellious in that. It was like, no, you're not taking this from me.
I wasn't good at that. And so I probably took 2 to 3 weeks and nothing rolled over. That's the other things. Some companies roll over your PTO and some pay it out in cash, and some there's lots of different, it was use it or lose it for us.
Mhm.
But most of the reason that I didn't use it was because I couldn't fit it in the calendar. I didn't want to let anybody down. I didn't want to have really uncomfortable conversations about what I would be missing because the calendar was full. It just was.
Yeah.
And there were so many expectations. It's like they filled up your calendar with so much stuff that you had to go to. And then you're like, I'm only going to get to 9 stores in a whole quarter. If I take a week off, then I'm going to make it to 4 or 5 less, you know?
Right.
So it's like for the whole quarter, only getting to 5 stores, that's crazy. So I think I let that guilt get to me, even if I think sometimes the guilt was put on us a little bit, but a lot of the time it was just me putting
Yeah,
it
it
on
was
myself.
yeah, and I can't say it didn't get me. I mean,
Mhm.
there were times that even when I was on vacation, I had my computer, I was still answering the phone, like, because, I think one of the reasons that people don't always take all their time is there's the guilt of like, well, who's going to do this work while I'm gone? You feel guilty about putting
Mhm.
those responsibilities on your team for you to take the time. Or, like in our case, yes, we were able to pass off some of those things while we were on vacation, but a lot of the time with the things that we were responsible for, you had to work double time the week before to get caught up and ahead
Mhm.
to be able to be out for a week. And then the week that you get back, everything that built up while you were gone, it was more exhausting to take the vacation than it was to
Mhm.
just work all the way through. And that part
Absolutely.
gets really hard to swallow. And then it's like, is this 5 days off really worth the hell of the 5 before and the 5 after?
Yeah.
It becomes
And
exhausting.
and sometimes it is and sometimes it isn't, and it depends on the time of year and how much is on your plate, but I think that people have a hard time with how is this going to look? How is this going to look if I'm not at that meeting? How am
Yep.
I going to be perceived? Will I look less committed to the company? And these things should never even go through your mind. You are given
No.
yeah, you are given these days and you need to take them. And if you want to really look at the commitment and all that stuff and try and get ahead of that, work it out with your boss. Be like,
Mhm.
when's the very best time for me to take this? If it's not
Yeah, if
that
it's
you're
an
taking vacation
optional.
to go to a wedding or something, but like if you're like, I don't have any specific times, I would like to go during the spring to
Mhm.
Florida or I would like to go during the winter to Colorado, but just let me know when you think will be the best, right? And then hope that they don't take it back. But
Yeah, the approval part of things is really hard for me too. And we didn't really fight that very hard, except for like some of those bigger meeting things. Like I said, I did
mhm,
run into a couple where it was like, I'm not really asking, I'm going.
mhm,
And for some companies, that'll bite you in the ass, just like the video you saw. Like she was let go.
yeah, mhm,
Thankfully, I didn't work for that kind of company. We got through it, and I feel like I was valued a little bit more than that, thankfully. But I think that some people find it hard to take all their vacation because they find it hard to get approval for something. You just said you were given this time, you should take it. I kind of look at like you earned this time.
mhm,
It's yours. Why should we have to feel like we need to beg for it?
mhm. Well, and some companies really make it uncomfortable. I mean, I see videos all the time. That one, I don't know why the one that I saw the other day just rubbed me so the wrong way. Maybe because she got fired. But
Yeah.
it's like I see these kind of videos all the time because all we see is career stuff on the corporate burnouts socials,
Yeah.
They know us. But people are like, I asked for a week in an off season and it was just a flat no. But why? Why are they gatekeeping this time that, like you just said, they earned?
Yeah.
They earned that time. So how can you just flat out say no? We need to do an episode on horrible bosses because we get a lot of that too.
That could
People
be
telling
fun.
horror stories about their horrible bosses and just people who are just on a power trip or they are just horrible toxic people. I think that people might enjoy hearing those stories because everyone's had somebody who is a little bit too much.
Yeah.
But to hear the extreme cases could be really interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, thankfully, we didn't experience the super extreme, horrible boss sort of
No,
situations, but, I mean, they have TV
no.
shows on that for a reason. It is entertaining, and I would
Mhm.
love to get some stories.
Yeah, yeah,
Let's
so
do it.
please send us your stories at thecorporateburnouts.com and just leave a story about your horrible boss. We'd love to read them in a future episode. But yeah, some of these bosses are freaking horrible, and they just wield their power and say, sorry, you can't have that paid time off. And that is just sad.
Yeah. And I mean, we did experience that a little bit. It was more understood. Like, we worked in the restaurant industry. You were going to work Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day. Like, sorry, it's on a Sunday. Sorry, you want to spend that time with your family. This is the industry.
Sorry
and
that
like, we knew
it's
that when we signed up. So like, I was never upset about that. Those holidays to me were about making money, not about what they're meant for. But it's interesting now being on the other side of like seeing how the real world lives. But it was understood, like, we don't do vacation over those times. Like, don't be dumb. And I look at it like, you know, you and I probably don't need to go on vacation at the same time, but would it really be the end of the world? I don't think that it would. It wouldn't. So like, those companies are like, ugh, you can't be off because Susan's already off. Like, what?
Right. And then why does Susan have preference? I've seen videos where people are like, well, Susan can have off because she has kids. Like, that'll make me go through the roof.
Yeah. I gotta love that when you get punished because you have a different personal life.
Yeah. It's like everyone still has a family.
Right.
I don't understand. We talked a lot about the guilt that we felt taking vacation, and in certain situations or just in general because of who else it would affect. But what I think is crazy is when the boss makes you feel guilty about it. It must be nice to be able to have the week off. It must be nice to be in sunny Florida, although you do that to me.
Yeah, I definitely do that to you. But obviously that's in jest, right?
Yes.
Like, I want you to go have
It's not passive aggressive.
Yeah. I'm not really bitter or upset that you have a great life.
We can't tell. But I hate that. I don't think I ever really felt that, but I guarantee that people feel that. And just from petty bosses who just are so pissed that they can't just have vacation all the time. And all they do is watch their employees go on vacation. It's like, well, most of the time we're here with you. Don't make me feel guilty about using this.
I think sometimes it's about like what you're going to do. You know, when you think about it, like, you know, if the boss has a family and all the things, and their vacation might be taking the kids to Disney World, and it is something that they want to do. It's a life experience that they want to do, but you're not going to sit on the beach and having drinks with your friends or whatever. And then you got, you know, Mandy on the team over here who's young and single and going on, you know, this elaborate vacation with a bunch of friends, and it feels a lot more exciting. Like, I think there sometimes is an element of jealousy. And it can probably go both ways too, right? Like, if you've got that young single person who really wants to be married and have kids and going like, I wish I could
they want to go on the trips, but they don't have anyone to go on the trips with at this point. Yeah. I want there to be more streamlining of this. I hate to want to put laws in place to make things happen. I would like to see, like in Europe, that you have to give people 20 to 30 days, that you have to give them maternity leave.
And it's okay if there's parameters around it.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you leave it up to manager approval, that's where I think that is really hard for me, because there's favoritism and there is, you know, preferences of when they would want you to go and inconsistent standards. It's like, well, you let this person go on a 2-week vacation. I have 4 weeks. Why can't I take a 2-week vacation? That's hard. That's a hard one for them to cover probably. But if you let somebody else do it, now you have to let this person do it. And if there's inconsistent standards, then you're just going to be pissing off your team. Bad for morale.
Yeah. And to your point, you know, because there's really no standards around it set for companies, like, companies have their own standards, right? And then I'm sure department to department and things like that, it's handled differently. But because there's not like a streamlined standard, you have some managers who really protect PTO for themselves and for their team. And that is important. And those are the ones who really get and understand that you're going to get more out of these people if you A, give them what they've earned, what you owe them, and B, if you give them the mental break that we all need. And I don't think it's too much to ask to have 4 weeks a year. I think that's probably really a great sweet spot. One a quarter.
That's super fair. Yeah.
I think it's super fair to expect that. And even if it's not, I think for myself, even if it's not a paid vacation, like that's a really good standard to hold myself to. Are
Mhm.
you taking personal time to take care of yourself, 1 week out of the quarter? That's
Mhm.
not it's not an unrealistic expectation. But then on the
Yeah.
flip side of that, you have those managers that are either passive aggressively or just completely going to kind of punish you for taking it because somebody
Mhm.
else has to take on your work or because your work was a little slower or whatever.
Yeah.
Maybe you missed something. Like there's a feeling of punishment, at the
Mhm.
very least resentment that you took what was owed to you. And because
What
there's
was the
such a
rightful
swing in
yours?
that,
It's like taking
yeah,
a paycheck away from you. It's like, no, that's
right.
part of
Like,
my
are you
package. I
mad
have a
because my
contract.
direct deposit went through? Like, you
Yeah.
owe me that.
Yeah. It's so dumb. So I would like to talk about unlimited PTO because that's been a new thing in the last several years, right? That's not something
Yes.
that and most companies are not doing it. But the companies who are doing it, when I first saw it, I was like, that is a company that you want to work for, right? Someone
Me
who's like,
too.
yeah, you should have all the vacation you want. Just get your work done. Just get your work done and then take all the vacations that you want.
Mhm.
But now I think that we're seeing, I would love if you work for a company or you've even heard of a company who does this really, really well and is like, literally go do what you'd like. I haven't seen that though. I've seen that it is weaponized and that it's
Mhm.
turned down a lot and you still might not take very much PTO.
Yeah, I only know of one company that does it and does it really well. In addition to their unlimited PTO, once you've been there, and I don't remember for how long, but once you've been there for, let's call it 5 years, I don't know,
Mhm.
you can take a 3 month sabbatical that is paid.
Wow. That is a
Yeah.
huge benefit.
Wild. They also pay you a certain number of hours a year for you to get paid to go volunteer somewhere, go get involved in your community, give back. And we're just going
Mhm.
to pay you these hours, but you have to prove that you actually did this with your time. And there's just so much about that that I think, wow,
That's
they're really
incredible.
taking care of their people. And I know
Mhm.
several people who work there, and it really does work that way. However, the downside of that is kind of exactly like what I was talking about. Get all your work done and take as much as you want, but there's not going to be less work because you worked less hours or
Mhm.
because went out of town for the week. You're going to be working the weekend before, you're going to be playing catch up the weekend after, whatever
Mhm.
that looks like. The work is still yours to do and you're still responsible for your deadlines
Mhm.
and you still have to be at this, and this. But other than that, and so sometimes that list of like what you have to do, you decide for yourself, I can't take that much. And I think that's what they're banking on when they
Mhm.
roll out that unlimited PTO.
Yeah.
You
But
get
for
to
some
manage it for
people,
yourself, but
yeah.
you're going to come to the conclusion on your own, I can't take that.
Yeah, but I think that would be really workable for some people like you who
Yeah.
thrives on a deadline, right? Like you get so
Mhm.
much work done. You could do nothing all day and then something's due and you're just like on it, right? And I think that us procrastinators, that is something you're like, I have to be done. I can't open my computer for all of next week. So I have to have this
Yeah.
shit done.
And I
And
have to wait until I only have 2 hours to get done an entire week's worth of work. But you know what? In that 2 hours, you're gonna get a week's worth of my
yeah.
best work. It's so
Yeah.
weird and
Yeah,
frustrating.
but it is how it goes, and for not everybody, some people that
Yeah.
would really wig them out, like, they really wanna be structured, but for people who are best under the gun, that is what you need, and you could literally take off every 3 weeks, like 1
Yeah.
week a month, and you would still get everything done,
Yeah. Can we
but
just front load my month and I'm gonna work the first week of every month. I'm just gonna knock it all out and then be like,
Mhm.
I'm done for the month. Hit me up on the
I'd be done.
first.
Yeah, I'd be done here.
That's
No,
not gonna work for
I
me.
think that the company that you talked about is a dream, right? But I
Yeah.
think that so much of it is a trap. And because they can get more employees, they can get more talent by offering it until people figure out that it is a bit of a trap and they're not actually letting there's big stipulations on when you can use your vacation time. But I have seen that a lot of companies are doing this because they don't want to pay rollover time
because
and
they don't have,
they don't want to pay it out at the end of the year.
And some companies already are like, use it or lose it. Like we came from Texas Roadhouse. We did not roll over vacation. You don't get paid out as a salaried employee. You don't get paid out a vacation that you don't use. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of companies are like that. My stepdad, screw that. My dad has worked at the same company. Like I was probably 4 when he started there, and he's never taken all his vacation. And he still has accumulated all of those hours. Yeah. And they've just been rolling over for 40 some odd years. So like when he gets to retire, they'll just like, he won't be done until all of those hours are paid out. He'll just keep getting a check. And I think that's freaking cool, but like so rare that it rolls over.
That's wow. I would be interested to hear how many hours he has.
Yeah. I don't know if you want to tell me
I don't know if he would. No, and it doesn't matter, but it would be interesting. Like, is it 2 months? Is it a year? You know?
Yeah. And I don't know. I know that in recent years, as he's gotten older, he does take a lot more time. Like he will leave work at 3:00 every day for a week and be like, I got vacation hours. Like, whatever. If they're not busy, he's like, I'm not going to sit here and do nothing. I've got time. I'll just burn it. And I'm like, yeah, okay, you do
what you got to do.
And so I think that's great that he's able to, you know, continue to look forward to those hours whenever and however he decides to use them. But I think that you're right. I think a lot of companies are offering unlimited PTO because they know, and we've even seen statistically that employees with unlimited PTO are actually taking less PTO than people who have limitations on how much they get. And that's wild.
Keep in mind, so if you have unlimited, right, your mindset is, I can take this whenever I want. Your mindset was, I have to schedule this all at the beginning of the year because it's all going to fill up, right?
Yep.
So you had it all scheduled and they put it off, and then they put it off some more, and then it's the end of the year, and where did it go? Where'd the time go?
Yeah, I'll take the vacation when it makes sense, but then it never seems to make sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then there's like, I think there's also, and obviously having not experienced this, I think there's a level of guilt that goes into that too. Like, oh, how much is actually appropriate for me to take?
Yeah.
If my boss is only taking 5 days a year, guess how much you're going to feel like is appropriate.
Yeah. I would definitely not feel anything until after 4 weeks, right? Because that's pretty much the norm that people get at the top of the spectrum there. But I would definitely feel better about, but it's like, if we're getting into 8 weeks, I'd be like, is this okay? But is all my work being done? Yes.
Well, and I was
turn
going to say
everything in on time.
I think there's a lot of performance-driven time off that's granted in that scenario. It's like, as long as your work's done, you can go. But honestly, I look at it, and I know I equate a lot back to parenting, but like, it's like telling my kids whether or not they can go to a sleepover. Is your homework done? Is your room clean? Did you do the dishes? I mean, as long as your work's done, you can go. And then they immediately go, I can't go.
Yeah.
Because they know they're not on top of it. And there's not enough time between now and the time that they wanted to go to do all of the things that I'm requiring to be done. Now, in all fairness, as a parent, had you been on top of your job, if you will, this wouldn't be an issue. But since you're not, sorry.
Yeah.
And I think that bosses sometimes play that parental card where it's like performance driven, right? Like if you're not on top of it to my standards, then you don't get what I technically owe you. That feels wrong.
Yeah. So speaking of bosses, so what I think is interesting and what I didn't really anticipate is owning my own business and realizing that there are really no more real vacations.
Yeah.
Kind of, right? There's a day or two here or there where I'll take the whole day.
But
Obviously,
you never check completely out anymore. And to be fair,
No.
I don't think you ever really did, even in your corporate life.
No,
Like
I didn't.
we always took our computers, we always answered the phones, those sort of things. But it's even more so now. I mean, this coming from the girl who literally lives half her life on perpetual vacation.
Right. But that works for
It's the way that you've chosen to live your life, but you've chosen to live your life that way so that you get to do those things
because
and
otherwise
you get to keep your business. Because otherwise, like, how do you sustain owning your own business, keeping it growing and flowing if you're going to be taking off and completely unreachable for long periods of time, which I know a week vacation is a super long period, but that's a long time to not get a call back when you are a client.
Yeah, well, and I don't know, there's so many different layers to owning a business or working for yourself or whatever you want to
Uh-huh.
call it. This past week, I went to the beach 2 days. There was only 2 days, sadly, that were warm enough to go to the beach. It was still really nice otherwise, but I got to do that in the afternoon. But if I would have just said, I'm not touching my computer this whole week, I would have missed out on some stuff. We got more leads last week than like the whole month of January or the whole month of February,
Love to hear it.
right? So, but I don't want to make anybody wait because people are going to several marketing agencies to sometimes they're
Yeah.
a direct referral but two of these came straight from the internet, and I don't want them to go to somebody else first. Like I want to
Yeah.
talk to them. And so I'm glad that I do it the way that I do, and I just work in the morning and get all that stuff knocked out. And then if I still have stuff to do like social media, I'm just sitting on the beach doing it, and I'm still relaxing and I'm still happy, and
Yeah.
I got a tan. We're all good.
Yeah, you
But
have a lot less anxiety because you're not leaving something undone or wondering what leads you could have gotten had you been engaged in your business. Like you're kind of getting the best of both worlds. And so I think that's a little bit different.
yeah,
For
it's all
me,
working out. Yeah.
for me being 1099 like that contract employee, there's no such thing as a paid vacation anymore. However, I kind of look at it very similar to the unlimited PTO, not in the like being weaponized against me by any
Well, no,
means,
you don't
but
have to get approval, you
I
know?
don't like, I'm going to be off when I'm off, but if I choose to take the month of April off, I'm probably choosing not to make any money for the month of April, and that's
Yeah.
not going to be a thing. So
Mm-mm.
you just have to be a little bit more strategic about when you take your vacations. And, it is one of those scenarios where I might work a lot more the week before or the week after to balance things out because life has to go on and bills still have to be paid.
Mhm.
But I do find that to be interesting. I feel lucky and grateful that there's not been a vacation or time off that I've wanted or needed in the time that, post corporate that
Mhm.
I've not been able to take.
Mhm.
But then again, I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I can go to Chicago with Chase if I want to because I'm going to take my laptop and I can still work.
Mhm.
Like we can kind of work anywhere, and that's a blessing and a curse, but that is a luxury that not a lot of people get to be able to take the time
Well, yeah,
and
because
kind of continue to keep the work flowing.
yeah, let's say that you're a hairdresser or a tattoo artist or a
Right.
chiropractor. It's like you have to be in person, you know?
Mhm.
You are
It's
doing
hands-on
something for
service.
yeah. So you aren't make if you're a business owner who does those things, you're not making money while you're gone. So you
Mhm.
do have to there's so many layers to it, but it's not something that I super thought through. Also, PTO was not important to me in general.
Yeah.
I just need to take time off when I need to take time off. What I'm lucky about is that, my agreement with Dan is that I can go anytime that you want to go. It just, I have to be here. I mean, we are here every other week with the kids,
Yeah, for the
but
kids anyway.
yes, but I try and make those trips not whenever I have heavy networking or I need to do, speaking engagements or different, like there's a lot of
Yeah.
stuff that we work around that schedule. And then, like, don't be that spouse who is upset with me for working when he doesn't really need to work most days because his business just runs
It's kind of on
differently.
autopilot. Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes he has to dig in, but he never is upset that because that's some people. And in my past life, whenever I would have to work while on vacation because I couldn't turn it off and there was an emergency that wasn't a freaking emergency, I put that pressure on myself, and then I got a really bad attitude back about it, because not everybody agrees to vacation that way.
Yep.
And
And it's
so
like,
I'm glad.
can you be done so that we can go back to fun? Like, what are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that there are different ways to make it all happen, but I do think that it's hard for business owners too. And people like you who do contract work and anybody who doesn't get benefits in general. It's like how do you make this happen? And if you're work from home, can you make this happen on the road? Can
Yeah.
you go on
Because
vacation and still
because
get
work
this
from
done?
home doesn't always mean work remote.
Mhm.
Sometimes work from home, like you literally need to be in this space. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a friend who works from home also, but like she's confined to a specific room in her house. Like she works for an insurance company. Information you can't do that at a hotel in Florida. You know, it doesn't work that way. But I think just overarching what I find interesting is that this concept of unlimited vacation or even PTO in general and the complexities of taking it and the guilt and all the things, it's really not a whole lot different corporate versus an entrepreneur, because in corporate, you're afraid to ask or made to feel guilty or all the things. Like there's all of that. And then as an entrepreneur or contract labor or business owner, you're afraid to stop those things because of the revenue dip, because of the potential loss of leads and the client
the
relations.
loss of momentum too.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's kind of blocks on either side, but at the end of the day, we all have to have time off and we have to protect that. I don't know what the magic formula is. We clearly haven't found it.
Yeah.
But we're making it work for ourselves now, and I think that's good. We made it work for ourselves in corporate. This wasn't a super huge pain point, but I think that it is. Like out in the world, I think it is a big pain point for some people. And for that, I invite all the stories, the good, bad, and the ugly about PTO in general. Do you get too much that you can't use? Do you not get enough and you need a break? Do you have unlimited and your boss makes you feel like an asshole for taking it? Whatever the case may be, we want to hear about it because I think this is a bigger conversation that I don't think is had enough.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. And by the amount of people who are posting about it on TikTok, people's got some big feelings. So yeah.
And rightfully so.
Yes. Send those to us.
We haven't mentioned it yet on this episode, but I get to see you next week.
Like seriously, 8 days.
I know. I'm super pumped. So for those of you who have been following along, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. We are going to be at the Become Conference on March 12th and 13th. Oh, I got it right without even looking.
You did.
12th and 13th. Super duper excited. Going to be there in person to see my bestie and get to like meet some clients face to face. It's going to be so great. But I'm really, really looking forward to the development and inspiration that comes along with this conference. It's been a minute since I've been in that environment and I know that I thrive in it. So I'm super pumped. If you have not heard us talk about the Become Conference, it is a really empowering women's conference. Going to be a lot of small business owners there. Just lots of really strong, powerful women. They're not only in attendance, but also, of course, in the speaking roles as well. So take a look at our show notes. We'll make sure we put the details in there. And if you want to say hi while you're there, we'd love to make some new friends.
Yeah. And so I don't think I've even talked to you about this yet, but as you know, I am with some other marketing women doing a panel and I'm really excited about it. Everyone started talking about the other day what they're going to wear.
Oh, I haven't even thought about what I'm going to wear.
No. So if you guys have any tips based on, you see our style, it's plain
I'm wearing
Jane.
a North Face t-shirt.
So we can't wear a North Face t-shirt or jeans to
I'll put a blazer
this
on top.
conference.
It's fine.
But if you guys have any suggestions on what you think would go with our style, we need to figure out what we're wearing to this. And I am now nervous about that because I'm like,
Thanks a lot. I wasn't even thinking about that.
No, I'm so plain. And, but I definitely need to, like, I can't do like a fancy dress or anything. That's not my style, but I want to look nice. But anyway, no, I'm so excited to see you next week. And I'm so excited for Become. And if you still haven't gotten your tickets, I think that there's probably like 3 or 4 left. Hopefully there's still when
so
I know.
Get in it.
Yeah, there could possibly be more than that for one-day tickets if you want to just hear the marketing panel that is on Thursday night. So think about it.
Yeah.
So anyway, help us figure out what we're going to wear. And we'll see you next week.
Sounds good. I will actually see you next week.
I'm excited.
Bye.
All right. Bye.